Hey, everybody, this is Craig with Out on Film, and we are here with one of our In Conversation series with our team from our feature film, Duino. We have Juan Pablo Di Pace and Oscar Morgan joining us. Thank you both for joining us this afternoon for a little discussion about the film that we are screening, Duino, as part of our festival running September 26th through October 7th now, as we have had to postpone our opening night for into the next week. So, gentlemen, welcome to Out on Film. We're so glad to have you.
We're
Thank you.
so glad
Happy to be
to
here.
go. We'll actually both be there too.
Yeah.
Excellent.
We're
Yeah.
very excited. Very excited.
So you will be here in person. And so we're going to just have a little chat about this film to tease people into coming to the screening to see both of you in person on the ground. So I wanted to just get started with Juan Pablo. This is a very personal story for you. Tell us a little bit about how you decided to tell this story now.
Well, I've been acting for 23 years. So on that side of the camera, but since I can remember, maybe 5 years old, I wanted to direct. And through the years, I just felt, okay, what would be that first film? What would be that first story? And so when this came uh, into my mind, I thought, well, yeah, I know these characters very well. I know this world very well. I know the the drama of it very well. So it just felt like the perfect first film because I want to make a second, a third, and a fourth, and a fifth. And you know how they say, write about what you know. So the first one, I'm talking about a lot of things and people in my life. And so, yeah, that's really how it came about. It was 2020 um, when the seed was planted in a conversation.
Okay.
And and yeah, 2 years later we were shooting.
Okay. And here we are. And Oscar Morgan, you come aboard to play young Alexander. Tell us a little bit about how you came to this role.
How I came to this role. Well, I got a self-tape through from my agent, like everyone does, in I think October or November of 2021.
Mm.
Um, it was really fun. It was kind of um, very clearly from the pages that I got initially, a very wacky person. Um, so I did what I could with it and sent it off, and then I got had to do a meeting with this guy
Yeah.
and our casting director Amanda Lenka Doyle, and yeah,
Yeah. And we subjected him to I think four chemistry reads. For people
Okay.
that don't know what that is, basically when you have a few options, a few actors that you like, and in this particular case, the two leads needed to have a lot of chemistry. And so I think Oscar was one of the first ones that we decided to go with. So we subjected you to like four chemistry reads for different actors. So he had to see like who he was going to be good with.
Mhm.
And all online. This is like kind of post pandemic, whatever. So
Yeah.
no one was meeting in person
Well, we were connecting from
from
three different
different.
corners of the planet as well,
Exactly.
so
Yeah. Yeah.
that would have been a
Yeah.
very tough coffee meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
True.
and that's interesting. You're doing this all online in the beginning. Kind of what's that like trying to do a chemistry read with somebody who's just in a square like we are today?
Well, I mean, I've had to do. I think the only chemistry reads I've done have been online,
Mm.
and they've all been quite nice, really. I was worried about it. It does seem kind of just wrong. Like you have to like assess if two people have chemistry through the internet.
But you
Um,
can tell. You can
I
tell
think
through
it
the screen.
works.
You can tell.
Honestly, it's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. I think you had the Madison family last year.
Yes, we did.
Yes. And with Nico, I did the exact same thing. It was an online chemistry read, which actually what gave me the idea
Okay.
to do yours.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, I mean, as soon as I met Nico, I was like, yeah, I love him. I'm in love with him. I see us as a relationship. Please give me the job.
Mhm.
Well, that's interesting because as you just said, Juan Pablo, you know these people, you know the story. So when you're casting in particular, kind of when is it that you know, and how do you know that these are the people that are going to represent the
Well,
people that you know?
yeah, yeah, there was a lot of that going on because I wanted to be truthful to my memory because it's really a movie based on memory. It's got a lot of nostalgia. It's about the adult looking back at a very important time in his life and a very important person and family. So, and obviously we had to cast the young versions of the characters, the older versions. So there was an element of, and also none of them are from the same country. I mean, we have the Argentinian family inside of the story, and then we have the Swedish family inside of the story. And so we looked everywhere. I mean, sure, for Argentinian characters, we only looked in Argentina. We ended up with these amazing actors um, from Buenos Aires. The mom, young Matias, who had to be my younger version, and the dad. But then for the adults, the Swedish family, we looked everywhere. So for your role, I mean, all of Scandinavia, Germany, the UK, the US, until we arrived at this one over here. And but your parents, I mean, Johannes is from Iceland.
Yeah.
Krista is from Finland.
Yeah.
Your sister, older sister. Your
Yeah.
younger sister is from Sweden.
Same character, different.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we ended up with a really Scandinavian family, but each of them from a different country in there. And yeah, it was I needed them to look alike. That for me was really important. The young and the adults, they needed to have the same quality of person, you know. And sometimes that is an eye color. You know, to me, it's jarring when you see like a character that has brown eyes as a young person and blue eyes as an older person.
Right.
So that was really important that they looked alike, but
Right.
also they were amazing actors. So there were so many different things that needed to be right in order for the casting to be right. And I have to thank Amanda Lenker Doyle, our casting director, because she was also very picky. He's like, no, she doesn't look like her. So no, you know, or yeah, or with Santiago, she didn't want to settle for the actors that I was about to offer the role to, the actor. She's like, no, let's do one more search.
Yeah.
And then we came to Santiago, which was a gift. I mean, it was just a magical thing.
Absolute gift for everyone. Yeah, she did an amazing job, Amanda, did with the matches. I think one of the best examples of that is Toto Thomas.
Oh my God.
Thomas, the older,
the friend who plays Pablo is like my best friend, and they're both like they look like the same.
They do. It's amazing. It's
So, you know, so much of this film is really, as you said, it's about memory. It's about family. It's about finding our place in the world. Where do we belong, both as growing up and as adults, and kind of how all that fits together. When you're writing this, kind of does the structure just emerge for you, or did you have an idea of where you were starting in the flashbacks and going back and forth? And how did you make that decision in the structure of how you did the narrative?
Well, I really started from the actual story in the past, which was the 90s, and going to this amazing school called the United World College, which I went to when I was 17, 18 years old. And in this kind of bubble of a place, because it's this international, unique kind of the last 2 years of high school where you get people from all over the world on scholarships that arrive in this one place. And you sort of start from scratch in there. You have no base. You don't have your parents, you don't have your culture, you don't have your country, you don't have anything. You're literally starting from zero. And for me, that was such an amazing experience as a young person, but also in a film, I was like, how amazing it would be to talk about the fact that as a queer, as an LGBT youth, you usually want to get away and you want to start again, right? And And so that's how we meet the character. But actually, and of course, in that place where no one knows him, he's starting from scratch. He falls in love for the first time with his best friend. And so that in itself is such an intimate thing. You're discovering who you are. You're allowing yourself to take this tiny little step into maybe from this bubble. And so drama ensues, and then
Right.
we move on to the rest. But I thought to talk about that, those very important years of a person's life, which is when you are not an adult yet and you are not a child anymore. It is that transitional period, which all of us
Yeah.
remember it so well. And the feelings feel bigger then, and emotions feel just grander. And I always remember that time, and I always thought of that time in my own life as almost like an insect in amber. That memory is just so precious that you want to keep it there, even if it was painful, but it's just so kind of, in a way, cinematic.
That's beautiful.
Oh, thank you. And so I thought, if I tell the story from the point of view of the adult, a director who's making a movie about that one event, and he's struggling to finish this movie because his memories are almost like fighting with his own brain,
Well, the
then
way
that's how,
yeah,
yeah,
it's the way that we kind of always, every gay boy remembers his first love.
yeah,
Yeah, just kind of, but as from an adult perspective, we don't always kind of realize kind of how much of that first love we carry with us.
I know, yeah, and that's been so lovely to see, when we screen the movie with an audience in a cinema, in the different cultures. Like I was just in Hawaii, Hong Kong, the States, Italy, Rio, and it is true. It is a constant. Every gay person connects with this one thing because we all fell in love with the one
Right, we did.
that we couldn't, attain. Um, and they're painful memories, most of them, but they're also beautiful.
Yeah,
So there's like beauty and a suffering at the same time that goes with it, which I think it's really poetic and kind of, I don't know. I think it's a beautiful, beautiful thing that, and not just queer people, like everyone has fallen in love with the one person, and maybe that first love didn't, you know, pan out.
right.
We all remember that one. So yeah, I guess I wanted to talk about that.
And Oscar, as you're looking at Alexander, how is it that you approached this character, and what did you want to do?
What did I want to do? Well, when I arrived in Duino, I think I came about maybe just less than a week after you guys had arrived. And so there was already a sort of a microcosm kind of established. And Juan Pablo, on I think the first evening, you got us round, and you showed us a
Tapes.
bunch of tapes
Yeah.
from the actual old days.
Yeah.
Not old days, sorry, just
Yeah,
days.
yeah. They're all day. 25 years before,
You said
yeah.
um, and that really kind of set me off on the path, I think. I
Uh,
didn't, yeah, before that I was kind of like a little bit out to sea with what I was going to do with it.
mm,
Um, I mean, I knew it would be fine because there was just so much to play with, and it was just really fun. And I feel like I could easily have put a lot of myself into it and just, yeah, given it that. But when I saw those tapes, of which there were hours, like
hours.
hours and hours, um, that really helped. I mean, this guy is what is he like? Sort of like a faun, like a sort of wonderful, weird wizard. I won't go any further.
Okay.
No, you can. I mean, it is based on a real person, of
Yeah,
course. And yeah,
Yes.
he's an enigma.
Yeah.
And you've done that so well in the movie because we never get to completely know him or understand him fully. But this is a person who is always surprising you, always shocking you. Like when you think he's going this way, he goes that way.
Right.
And it was really hard to cast because of that, because he's walking the fine line of almost being annoying, but not, because he's so charming.
Yeah.
So that's what you mean, like, I guess by the fawn, he's like this almost unicorn type of jokester.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like you could seem like a regular person for a while, and then you look down, he's got goat legs, like, metaphorically speaking. Like, yeah, tiny little horns. I don't know.
Yeah. And he's done an incredible, like, if you got to meet the real Alexander, he did an incredible job in grasping that essence. Because you adore, I mean, I find Oscar's performance so powerful, and so heartbreaking at the same time.
And it's just a very human performance. It's just it's so easy to cast that character as kind of like a villain, which sometimes we often see, and you don't do that here. He is fun. He is charming. He is brushing that line. Could be annoying, but not, because he is charming and fun. I mean, but it's all, these kids are just all very human, and it's just kind of a very real experience when you're watching it on the screen.
Yeah, I think Alexander has a lot of, at least in the fictional version of him I'm speaking about now, like he has a lot of just sort of creative and just exuberance that doesn't really have a place to go. And it does come from a loving place, and from a place of wanting to be liked, and to make people feel comfortable, and to entertain. But I think it's very easily misunderstood. And that's,
yeah, I guess, a tragedy of it. He's misunderstood, and also my character misunderstood. Like, I don't know if he misunderstands it, but it's like it's hard to read. But yeah, he's coming from a place of just being overexcited about life, right?
Yeah.
Well, everybody's in a place where you're trying to find yourself. Everybody's on a journey, and it's just kind of coming together and not. And it's just kind of how it seems like so many of us just grow up. You just kind of like go with it.
Yeah.
And I think that's one thing, Juan Pablo, I want to say, as I was watching this and with these characters, and I, these kinds of stories I've seen a lot, there is a real care that you take with all of them. As a director, and I think as a writer, and as a viewer, you can feel like the level of care. You really care about all of these people, fictional or not.
I do. Yeah. I mean,
Like
I
a
believe
psychopath.
I do care like a psychopath. Yeah, they're very important, because okay, there's two elements here. There's obviously, I want to make a movie that that has a lot of heart. Andres and I, my co-director, we from day one, we were like, there are no villains in this story. There's just people who are trying to do their best. And sometimes doing your best can actually hurt others.
Yeah.
It comes from a place of wanting to be the best parent, or wanting to, just doing the right thing in a situation where. And so, yeah, I have a lot of respect for both the real people, because of course I want the real people that watch this movie to also not feel exploited, because we're all, it's never black and white. There's only gray in life. And Andres and I really wanted to talk about the gray areas of everyone. So yeah, we took a lot of care with each, just making sure that there was never like it didn't skew one way, but we talked about the different layers of people. That was really important, actually. And yeah, hopefully it comes out on screen. Because I think we are in an era where it's very easy to label humans. You know, there's definitely like I'm a this and I'm a that and I'm this and I'm that, and so we live with all these things, and I am looking forward to a time when we are going, wait a minute, labels actually diminish us in a way. We're not there yet, but we are all very complex, very complex. And so I think it is important in cinema to see that that there's not a one color to a personality, you know, to a psychology of a human. So, and I'm getting too meta about this, but yeah, we sort of wanted, yeah, we wanted each character to be quite multi-layered.
And then Oscar, I always think that there's a part of art that always lives with you. What about Alexander and this experience in this movie are you going to take with you?
That's a good question. I mean, we shot it a while ago now, so I guess I've already taken. So what have I lived with of Alexander's for the last 2 years? God, I don't know. Maybe just his the attitude that he has is, I guess, could be called silliness. And that's just what I think. It just playing that part really encouraged me to get back in touch with a part of myself that I let go of a few years ago, a few years before that. But it's like that was my whole identity was that kind of I you know, I don't know where I'm going with this. I love being silly. Okay.
Yeah.
I've always loved being just messing around and
But you said to me today that before this movie you were ready to kind of maybe let go of the idea of acting and
yeah, it was yeah, I guess so. I mean, panic thoughts about when you don't work for a while and then you think, oh God, what is my life?
and we just gave you this crazy loon to play with.
Yeah, and I guess that was that really.
And then he got like the CW and
there we go.
Up and so it was a good thing that you
yeah, a good thing to say.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I don't know how to answer that question though. I'm sorry.
That's okay. So as we kind of come to our end, what is next for each of you? Juan Pablo, what is the trajectory of this film and what are you working on next?
Yeah, so we've been showing at international festivals around. I just came back from Hawaii and Hong Kong. We're of course we're coming to Atlanta, going to New Fest after that, and quite a few others. So yeah, I mean we're just excited to show it to audiences in cinemas. It's such an experience to be in the cinema with people, and especially with films that are this kind of, I don't know, I don't want to say small, but independent in the sense that these are just stories, right? It's not Marvel special effects, but it's just like people with their issues and dreams. And I kind of love that we get to do that because we've been so used to experiencing those types of stories in just on our screens.
Right.
So to see it in a cinema is really nice. I'm writing 2 more films. So I'm prepping on that and I'm very excited. And then my performer side is actually going to be in New York doing a cabaret in 10 days at Studio 54 below Studio 54. So yeah, it's just I'm jumping around the globe, just trying to go to all the festivals because I love seeing people's reaction.
Mm-hmm.
And Oscar, what's next for you?
Well, I'm following JP around. I'm being a groupie, having a lot of fun on this journey. I will see what comes out of that. Yeah. That's about it.
Excellent. Well,
yeah, he's been stuff that he can't talk about.
Okay. Well, like you, Juan Pablo, we are absolutely beyond thrilled to be screening in a theater on a big screen. We can't wait till you're both here sitting with our audience to see this film. Again, we are out on film. We are festival is running September 26th through now October 7th. And come see Duino with Juan Pablo de Pache and Oscar Morgan. Gentlemen, thank you both very much for joining us here at Out on Film, and we look forward to having you in person.
Thank you
Likewise,
so
thank you very
much.
much.
Can't wait. Can't wait. We'll see you there.
Okay. Thank you, everybody, for joining us.